Okay, we know that slope is defined as the change in y over your change in x. Looks like an A. And that means that gosh, I'm so bad at drawing straight lines. That for one movement in x, we'll have a certain movement in y. We'll have a certain movement in y. And that movement in y over that movement in x, difference in movement in x and y, is equal to how fast this line goes up, how steep this line is. And we've looked at positive lines with a positive slope. Let's say like you change y changes 1 by 1 unit for every 1x, and you get 1, or y changes twice for every 1 unit in x, and you get a slope of 2. It changes by 2 units, and you'll have a steeper slope. But what about if you had one that was -1? What if you had one that was -1? Well, x is always going to be positive whenever we're measuring slope, because we measure it by an increase in x. If we move to the right in the x-axis, how much does the y-axis change? So the only way for it to be negative, is if the y-axis is negative. If the slope change in y is negative. And the change in y can be negative if the line is going down, if it's decreasing in size. Let me show you. If I have a graph like this, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I have -1, -2, -3, SpongeBob SquarePants, -4, -5, and I have -1, -2, -3, -4. Anyways, and I were to draw a line that goes down like that, and I want to measure the change, and I were to start, let's say right here, we're going to call this 1. We're just going to say this is 1 right here. And if I were to go 1 to the right, increase on the x-axis by 1 by going to 2, and then going down, my y-axis has decreased from 0 to wherever this is. Same thing if I were to go from 2 to 3, my y-axis has decreased from right here to right here. Now, if this was decreased by, let's say, 1, if it was decreasing by 1, then the slope would be -1 over 1, which is equal to 1, which means that for every 1 push in the x-axis, my line is decreasing on the y-axis by 1. It is going down by 1. So a negative slope means that the line is decreasing. You can have a sharper negative slope. If it was -2, you could have a much steeper negative slope. It just means that it's decreasing faster. So a positive slope goes up, a negative slope goes down. And you can get that by the y-axis decreasing for every step of increase in the x-axis. So that's what a negative slope is. I say in school.